What's up, YouTube? My name is Mike Huddy with Clover Trading, and today I wanted to talk about AMC. I just can't understand why people are still buying this stock. I mean, I get it. For a couple of days, it was insanely volatile. I mean, if you go back in its history, 3 or 4 years ago, we had a nice run on AMC where it was this stock that was on the verge of bankruptcy, and it had this massive run. And there's such a lapse of information in the stock market with retail traders who just don't know what they're doing. And these people have money, which is absolutely blasphemy if you ask me, like, the fact that they even do this stuff. I was talking to my girlfriend just the other month, back in probably May or April, and she was saying that she was, she's a mortgage broker, and she was, approving this person for a loan. And on there, to get their loan, they were putting up their stock account as some kind of collateral. And in their stock account, they had multiple millions of dollars invested in AMC, as if this is like a thriving business that doesn't have a business model that's about to go out due to, competition and Netflix, HBO, whatever you want to say. AMC is not a good stock. And ever since this run back in 2020, 2021, they've been doing nothing but diluting their stock, taking advantage of the fact that people are buying their stock at exorbitant prices, knowingly that it's not worth that much, and they've been diluting. Most recently, we had a situation where there was another ticker called APE, and pretty much what ended up happening was for every 1 share of APE that you owned, you ended up with 10 shares of AMC, which is massive dilution. And then on top of that, just a couple weeks or days after that whole news came out, AMC did a reverse split. Why did they do a reverse split? So that they could ink an ATM offering and sell more shares onto the retail buyers that are buying this thing. I mean, this thing is probably down like 90%. Look, like from what, 58 to 7? It's down roughly 90% in just under a month, let alone the fact that this person that my girlfriend was doing a deal with was, long before April or May. So it just blows my mind that people with millions of dollars are just gambling it away on broken business models, broken stocks that sure once had momentum, but it's not there anymore. And if anything, it's just a carcass of a stock that's infinitely diluting. The CEO's lining his pockets. Not a good situation for long-term investing. And sure, there's momentum on either side, but you really need to know what's going on behind the scenes of these stocks. These stocks are not here to make retail holders money. And that's not the objective. They want you to lose pretty much. You have to be smarter than them and know what the name of the game is. So this is one of the more dilutive stocks in the market. I just hope that people stop buying it. Like, it's not a discount. It's a terrible company. And maybe I'm wrong, right? None of this is financial advice, but just looking at the price action and looking at the filings, it's very clear what this company's objective is. And so for me to hear that someone has invested $2 million at exorbitant prices at an exorbitant market cap betting on the future of AMC, good luck. That's all I have to say to that person. But look, AMC is not a small cap ticker, but it's doing small cap type of dilution. And pretty soon it will be a small cap, actually, if it keeps going down this path. The other one that seems to be a ton of misrepresentation on is FNGR, which is this blatant pump and dump chart. And if not made clear by just the price action of the run up here and of what the stock is, the same insiders that are behind the financings of FNGR are the same financiers, lenders for MULN, MULN. The insiders are the same. It's the same toxic lender. And they've inked a deal worth up to like $300 million worth. It hasn't been effective yet, but they've registered all the tools in order to get that kind of deal to the table. It's literally quite there. It's already there. So eventually what's going to happen with Finger is you're going to have this massive effective statement that's going to price shares at various prices. The stock started at $250, so who knows where it's going to be priced. And there's an ATM. It's a mixed shelf. So FNGR is like this manipulated stock that's up from $2 all the way to $8. All of social media is going crazy about it. And to me, this looks like a wild pump and dump. And again, like nothing's for sure in the market. Nothing can be guaranteed. This is a Univest IPO. So same guys behind HKD and Top, the same underwriter. But neither of those really had this massive shelf that has been registered during the run up. And again, like the other people that are inside the stock already that have millions of shares from cheaper prices are the same insiders that had millions of shares of MULN at cheaper prices. And we know the story with MULN. I mean, it was a cult stock that everyone thought was fantastic and it was going to run forever. And here we are, a year later in many reverse splits. And this is the name of the game in small cap. These companies are not here to line retail traders' pockets. They're trying to line someone else's pockets, with bigger money through effing over the retail traders. And I don't think FNGR is going to end any different than MULN. I don't have a position on this right now. I've just done some research on it. It looks like the company themselves might have some value to them and they're just being targeted for manipulation. But I expect the same result in FNGR when this shelf gets an effective statement. And these are things you have to be aware of that are constantly going around because you have all these pumpers on Twitter that are pumping up FNGR, that pumped up AMC for years as like it's going to the moon. And like if you give in to that information without doing your own research, you're going to end up a bag holder in these really bad stocks that are doing terrible things that will, if anything, make it very hard for these stocks to really move higher in the near future as long as you have these dilutive measures in place. So the most important message here is to get educated, because if you're trading stocks without education and just, following social media hype, you're going to end up in a bad situation. If not FNGR, AMC, MULN, it's constantly happening. It's cycles. This is how these companies make money. They get retailers to buy their stock, and then they do some kind of offering to take advantage of the liquidity. Rinse, wash, repeat. So be aware of the name of the game and get yourself educated, because this stuff is very important if you plan to be a small cap trader. You have to understand the rules of engagement, and here are some great examples of stocks that are being pumped right now, and we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Again, I have no position in either. This is just from what I see. It's not financial advice, just a nice warning to just be aware of what you're trading and what is really going on behind the scenes. What is the real agenda of the stock? There's always an agenda. It's up to us to put on our detective hats and figure it out.